everyone, welcome to the discussion for Seventh Continent. Doing the discussion earlier than I anticipated because we died. And I figured we have played, what, 4 hours?
It's a lot of hours.
I feel like we've played around that.
Yeah, 4.
We've
done 4 games, and each about an hour
So
each,
then-
so about 4 hours. I think that's enough to give us an opinion on this game, because there's really not much to it. Like, if you don't, I guess,
Symbols and...
Yeah.
Symbols, and if you don't play this game consistently, you forget what the symbols mean.
Yeah, it's definitely weird as a group. Since it has no structure.
Yeah, so...
Create your own structure.
So, so let's talk about things we don't like. We'll have you guys start.
Well, Devin already said structure. That was probably the weirdest part to me. It's because sometimes...
I need turns!
Yeah, like if you're not paying attention, or you're just letting, like, if everybody, like, 2 people are, like, really on a roll, it just sometimes doesn't feel, like, appropriate to, like, hey, can I actually go because you don't need to? Like...
I agree.
It's
a solo game. It needs to be a solo game.
Yeah.
And, I'm pretty sure the creators, like, talk this up as they want it to feel like like a video game RPG, like your survival, exploration kind of thing. In all of those games, you're playing by yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need other people. And in a board game, I mean, you can. There's multiplayer. You just all do the same thing. But in a board game structure, you can't all go at once. Like, we can't all do something different and then because you have to wait for someone to look for all the cards and do all that, and you all want to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not playing by yourself, then yeah, you have to pretty much make your own structure. And even then, it was kind of like forced. Like, at the very beginning when we started, we were all just, you and me were just going back and forth, and then it was like, okay, what do you want to do? Nothing that we can't already do. So I wouldn't really call that like a complaint.
Yeah, it's just weird.
It is weird. But, because if you're playing solo, then it's all perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all your stuff, you can do... or even probably in a 2-player game, I think 1 to 2 should be the max. You can play up to, I think 4, maybe even more. No, 4 is the max, because you're holding less cards. I remember that on the satchel card. I couldn't imagine playing this with 4 people.
Maybe, yeah, there's not a lot of...
Like, everyone would have to be invested enough, and I don't think the game is... I don't think it's intriguing enough for everyone to be invested. Not to say I don't say that as a negative. I just think that, like, there's not enough, like, because you're only invested in the stuff you're doing. Like, if I'm exploring the ship or whatever, and I'm finding all this stuff, that's really only interesting to me because I'm the one doing it. I'm the one that wants to go, like, oh, I want to go up into the mountains. Well, we don't. We want to go this way, and it's like, okay, well, technically you can.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's a good thing, is the game is very open to whatever you want to do. But yeah, if you're looking to get this game for more people, I would definitely advise not to, because you're gonna run into that. So what else did you guys not like?
Just didn't have a lot of pop to me.
You think?
You know,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I mean, yeah, you're exploring, and then, I mean, it captures that well. I mean, there's just no... I mean, the challenges didn't have a lot of zest. It's like, okay, so we play cards. All right, I get successes. I got successes. Well, if I failed, here's a card. That means I draw more cards later. And,
Yeah.
I don't know. Just didn't feel super threatening. I know that. I mean, I guess there's things that could kill you potentially.
Yeah, I guess there were, because we were 4 hours in, but we didn't really get that far. We had just gotten to, like, I guess it's spoilers. But we had just gotten off the first section. But that was also the first curse as well. This was the base game, and then later on in my second wave, I'm getting like 6 other curses, whether I'm getting a shit ton more cards and all that. But personally, I really like this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going to sound like I'm not, or I'm not. It's going to sound like I don't, but...
I mean, it's unique.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, there's nothing out there like it, because... It definitely puts you into a situation where it's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when this game first came out, because I got the second Kickstarter print. It came out over, I think, first Kickstarter a year ago. And I remember someone in my old gaming group was like, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having a lot of fun.
See, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just lost.
See, and that's what's weird because you play RPGs where you just explore, but you like those, and I don't get why this one was different.
Probably because I was alone by myself, doing my own thing, making my own decisions.
Yeah, I mean,
Just like I don't like dungeon crawls in board game form.
I guess that's true, which is
There's
also
just,
weird to me.
it's a different format because in when you're playing a video game, you just do what you want. If you die, you have a save file to load from. It doesn't matter. With board, it's just different. I can't put I can't put a pin in it and what it is. It's just different.
For me, I love that exploration. Like, what's going to happen, and every time you bring out the save, something different will be, because those gray cards aren't like, that's not like the land. That's just something in the way that you have to deal with, and then you go to the land, and there's all that bunch of stuff, and you can look. They have secret numbers. You can look, and you're like, oh, okay, I want to go and see what that's about, and it's going to pertain. And if you keep seeing that number, then there are cards in there that are gold cards, which is something different. So they definitely made a world, essentially. Like, there wasn't really anything I saw that was like, oh, I've seen that before. They had unique creatures, unique landscapes.
Except for that shovel.
Oh, yeah, I have seen a shovel before.
No, how I got rid of the shovel and then Devin pulled it out.
Oh, yeah. So, the whole atmosphere of this game, I think, is definitely designed for solo play. And I agree with you. Like, if I was playing by myself, it'd be all like, oh, what's going on here? This is so much fun. I get to do whatever I want. You don't have that weirdness of like, well, I want to do this. Well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is like...
Or if somebody has something, like you had the raft, I wanted to go that way, but you guys were going that way, so I was like, I have no choice.
Right, you had to follow. And in a solo game, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go see what's on the island.
Yeah.
And, like... It is really cool because I think the artwork, what there is very nice. Now, and because it's like what I like is you can look at something and be like, I know what's going to pertain to that. It's not like Arkham Horror Eldritch where you're drawing a card and you don't really know what's going to happen, but it's going to kind of loosely relate to something. Here you're like, oh, there's a body there, and then you find out, oh, there's eggs. Well, I'll search the body, and then you find out, oh, hey, these were fucking octopus eggs that it's attacking you. Shut up! It was real.
A legend.
I love how H.P. Lovecraft was in here.
Yeah.
And I was looking through the other curse things, and like on the back, it starts off with different cards. So if we had gone through this one curse, that's a one curse you go through. Then there's others that have, because there's like so many cards in that thing. That are just whirl. I like how all the tiles touch together. And yeah, it's just extremely free flowing. Like, it's weird. I thought there would be a lot to talk about with this game, but there's really not, because there's not a lot to it, but there is at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a world that you're exploring, trying to survive, so you need to hunt, which we didn't do.
Yep, we didn't do it
at all. And then you just keep going.
But that's also like with the hunting. That's also something where if it turns into any kind of grinding, I don't enjoy, and I don't.
Well, it's not really grinding.
Well, I wouldn't know. We didn't know.
That's true.
So that's why I said if it turned into that.
Yeah. I mean, so what it boils down to is, what did you guys think of the card mechanism?
Seen it before, so I mean, I like it.
Okay. Well, I meant like the action deck. Is what I meant.
I didn't like that.
You didn't like
Take
it?
it back. Yeah.
what with the successes?
I thought
Well, yeah. So
playing
like you
things
look
down
at
there,
everything.
like
So your action deck, and this is why I think it's also meant to be solo, because like that's supposed to represent all of our stamina and willpower and fatigue and all that. So as that's dwindling, you're thematically getting more and more exhausted or more insane or whatever, and then you have the discard pile, which is why when that runs out, you flip it over and you can keep going. You can get lucky and you can beat the whole game technically on that discard pile. But if you draw a curse, it kills you. But you don't add enough cards to compensate for more people. Like, you still have their special cards, but I think it's like 5 unique cards
per person.
And then the standard deck, and then I'm sure as you find more, you can add more from the thing. I liked it, because it did have that sense of tension, of like, oh, we're getting really low, I'm getting really tired, just kind of like in any video game survival, if you don't have a lot of food and you see your health dwindling or your stamina dwindling, then it's like, oh crap, I need to find some way to hunt for food. Like, there was a game that just came out where you Subnautica, I think is what it was called. It was basically an open ocean survival game. You swam, you crashed, you had to swim through the ocean, gather resources, build up your ship, and then stuff like that. And if you're not into survival games, you're not going to like this game. But yeah, like hunting was a way you get food, which essentially takes discard cards, put back into the action deck, and then now you no longer have a chance of losing because you've got some stamina back.
Yeah,
I think that's what your character was all about.
I don't know what she was
Like
about.
your cards.
Botany!
Yeah, she didn't seem like she was.
Well,
about
the cards
that
that you had were
And
like
matricide.
healing.
No. What's spousal? What's
Oh, no.
Matricide.
No, that's like
that's
calling
when
the
you kill your
matriarch.
mom.
It's,
Yeah. What is it when you just
Spouse.
kill your
Kill your
spouse? I'm a black widow.
Anyway,
We're talking about murder, Seth. We're changing subjects.
It was his fault.
it seems like your character's cards were about like herbal stuff and then healing.
And fires. I don't know where the fire token came from, but I was. Just,
Oh well, you have the token
I
always.
was just able to light him constantly.
I
was just lucky with that.
Yeah, and I mean mine was about if I had Serenity, I could turn curses into successes, and I don't. Oh, you can like run from things.
It's just like, bye!
You just bail out.
Paranoia finally caught
One
me.
complaint I do have is that when you help each other, it gets harder.
Yeah.
Like, that makes no sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, it's less effort, but it increases. It's like, why would you want to draw less cards? Because now the star increases. It doesn't make any. That doesn't.
I think they accidentally did it backwards.
Because it's like, well, no, because like the cards are your stamina, so it's like, okay, it's not as fatiguing because we're all helping each other, whatever, search the ship, but it's also more difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't make
At the
sense
same
because
time?
that's like all three of us trying to lift this table. We help each other, but that's
But
like,
the table's heavier.
like 100-pound weight getting added for each
Yeah,
person.
every
It's like,
single time. It ends up being the same. It actually ends up being worse because you need more successes.
Yeah.
And the less cards you draw, the higher the percentage. So it's like, well, no, I don't want you to help me then.
Right.
Because,
It's
I mean, it says may, so you don't have to,
Yeah.
but you can all be involved. I really don't like that, which is why I think it was meant to be a solo game. Because you don't have that problem.
Yeah. I think people might be scared to release something that just says solo game.
Actually, that's a huge request.
Well,
Like you would know.
I would.
No, I mean, the thing is, it's like actually a lot of Kickstarters that go on, people are constantly going, just have a solo version, and if it doesn't, a lot of people back out.
Really?
Well, because it's hard to get people into this kind of hobby. Like, if I was to break out any of these games to a new person, they'd be overwhelmed. So it's hard for people. It's easier for me because I have a lot of friends
Yeah.
who are my age and have the similar interests. But if you're a parent, like you can't, or if you have kids, if you're a parent, because you would have kids if you're.
You're a parent, but you have.
You don't have a lot because your kids have to be involved.
Well, they don't
So,
have to be, they
like
can
my
go
friend Brad, who's been in my top 10s, he heavily plays solo games because that's really the only time he can actually break them out. So I think it's great that they have a game like this that's solo because a lot of them you're trying to beat an AI or something like that. This one you actually have a game. So, I mean, it's weird. Like, I personally really like it. I don't know. This isn't a mid-series discussion. Like, at this point, if it's not interesting enough for you, you backed out, I'll just do what I'm doing with Gloomhaven and just continue
I was gonna say, I was like, you should try it. Just
myself. Yeah,
solo.
see it solo, and then just because then it's open, but it's open world, and I get to do what I want.
Yeah.
Was there anything else? Item cards. I'm trying to think of mechanics. So we all didn't like. Well, did you guys like the action deck to the discard pile thing?
I mean, yeah, maybe we knew better about the hunting.
Yeah.
That was pretty much
Because I was like, how the fuck do we get those back? 'Cause
Yeah.
we didn't run into anything.
We ran into
Tracks once.
tracks once. That was in. I think it was a snare, and then we decided not to do it. She had a card that allowed cards to go back in, but that was like way too late. But other than that, to my knowledge, I can't think of any way.
I want to say that card was was that my botany card?
Yes,
where
it was.
had it and I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
See, that's what I didn't like about those cards is because it's like, oh, well, if you have one that says botany, and out of everything that we already had, nothing said botany.
Right.
Ever. And I was getting a little frustrated at that point. I was like, okay, all right.
I mean, at that point, you weren't really doing anything either because
That's when it started.
wasn't really.
It got a lot less fun, that game.
And then like there was, I know there was a few cards that you could do, like to bring them back in, but I mean, the more if you're playing by yourself, the less you're doing, because you can be more stringent. You don't have like, oh, I want to go to the ship, or I want to go to the sea line, and I'm gonna do this. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna do my thing.
Don't be bogged down with inefficiencies.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
but
want to be my own person.
well, the same
Fuck
thing
you.
is there's a
Fuck you, Dad.
I hate you!
You pranked my dad! This game does a similar mechanism to Time Stories, which is, and I mentioned it in the last video, is if you run out of time or you run out of your cards and you lose, you start all over. And what you do is now you start over with new characters or new whatever, or the same character, and you now know to be more efficient. Like, you start the same thing, oh, I don't need to go there because I know there's a resting spot, or I don't need to go there because the fucking octopus attacked me. Mm-hmm. So then you just bypass all that, you just explore, and you're like, oh, here's the hunting spot, I'm gonna hunt. That's extremely tedious to me. I absolutely hate it in Time Stories. It's one of the stupidest rules, because who the hell wants to sit here for a game that's really no time limit, there's no game really there, there's no rounds, you just go until you feel like stopping. So imagine if you're playing, let's say we had sat there for 4 hours and then lost. Then it's like, oh, gotta do all that over again.
I'd be like, I'd rather fucking die.
Exactly.
In real life.
Time Stories the same way. That game, and I always do it for my channel, so we just bypass that. We just continue. Because who the fuck wants to sit and watch a video, oh, they're doing the same thing over again.
Right,
no.
Yeah.
So I would just continue, and it's like, well, that's cheating. I don't give a shit.
Well,
if it's like a video game, you have a save. Like if we logged every time we saved, and you just go back to the latest save, that'd be fine. And I guess you can house rule it and do that. This is our last save. We were on this card. We had, these items.
Yeah.
Then you just go back to your save point. You continue on from there. That's fine. But you don't do that. The save system is just a placeholder so you can put it up and pick it and take it back out.
Yeah.
In here, so doesn't matter how far you're into it, you could be right at the very end and die, and you have to do all that over again.
Not do that.
Yeah, there's no way.
Well, because it's just like, even as things changed, that's just so much fucking work.
Oh, exactly.
Like, that's just so much fucking work.
Like, it's cool, because I know in expansions that are coming out, there's weather that'll change the terrain cards and what's going on and stuff like that, which is cool. But I'd like to experience that as the game is progressing, not, oh, I had to go back. Now, what that does is you can play a curse over again. And it's not like, oh, this curse is done. Like in Time Stories, oh, this scenario is done, we can't ever do it again. You could do the same curse and just get a different experience and be like, well, I didn't go into the cave this time, let's see what's in there. Mm-hmm. And that's multiple run-throughs in a choice-based RPG. The core is really going to be the same, but the path to it will be different. That's what I think this brings. Let's see. You guys didn't really do with it, but I love the save mechanism. The fact that you can it organizes it all, and because it's all card-based. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I take your stuff, I have a sheet, okay, your item is 4 value, your other item is 3, take all that, and you just compile it, and you put it up. And getting it out super quick, too. I think that's really smart, and I like it a lot, because even though I have an inset, and I'll have one with my actual gaming table, leaving games out is still kind of annoying. So, especially for the channel when we're doing a series, it's like, unless it has a save spot or a certain end game, like Gloomhaven does, I just end the series and then it's all logged. This one, it would just be super annoying to leave out.
Yeah.
Or keep resetting it. Anything else? So, I mean, I can't really think of anything either, because you just explore.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And so, I guess scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, shit.
You always know it's coming.
I know, but I really did forget this time.
Okay, so I guess here's the other part that we could talk about before we do that. Story. Like...
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, like...
I would give it a solid 2.
It's... Like,
it's probably just syphilis.
And
No,
it's
it's
you're-
It's like, oh, I
you're
feel
in a
shitty.
hospital bed.
Obviously, it's from that mysterious continent I went to like months ago, and I'm cursed.
And, yeah, the curse
Yeah.
is syphilis.
We're not schizophrenic.
I think it is one of those things that it's kind of figure out as you go. I do like how the satchel is like your story. Like all the cards that you find, that's what you're figuring out, and it all just stays there, and you don't even give a shit, do you?
None of my items were speaking to me.
So
Except I did have the magic conch, so I'll bump it up.
Kill your
Yes.
husband. Kill him.
Maybe next time.
I did like that though. That it wasn't just explore and you see what you see is what you get. There were items like the red seaweed that if you see it on a card, you could now use that as string and stuff like that. Building items was pretty was cool that you can carry over.
Except for that fucking shovel.
Well, I mean, because you needed items and you got items on
Indeed.
terrain. So yeah, scale of 1 to 10.
I guess I'll give it a 5.
5
Yeah.
average. Just an
Yeah.
average game.
I don't want to beat it up. I might give it a 4.5 just because of the box art, because I really only to this day see men wearing tall hats and going like that.
Where are their heads?
They're really skinny heads. They're not normal people.
Where are the hats?
The hats are the
Are the skinny heads?
no head and then hat. The whole tall part is the whole hat.
So is this their head?
Yeah. They're like, you know how the Mayans did like skull warping?
Okay.
This is, they like basically caved in there.
It does look like a
Ha! Yeah, no, that part.
I
for
see
sure.
the hand and then the body.
And then one's leg, his knee, and then his leg is coming
Yeah,
down
those
and
are
he's
total
on
hands.
tiptoe. It just irritates me a little bit that those look so much like hands.
They
No,
do.
I'll give it a
I know, I was going to turn it sideways.
I'm like, what else?
Then it looks like a...
It's an alligator.
Oh yeah.
Wait, do it an alligator.
Mark an alligator. Now it is, now it's still a man, but now he's like, ha! Like, legs are spread, those are his sexy hips. That's his weird head. Freak! Devin, scale of 1 to 10.
Well, I mean, it's a unique game. I like the concept. The card system was really neat. I like how they linked everything with numbers. It was very innovative. It's a good game. I felt like it was just missing like a panache, a draw. I was like, I played it. I mean, I had a good time, but it's a very lukewarm good time. Like,
Yeah.
this is the thing to do.
Yeah.
I would come back to it, but it's episodic, so it's not like too obtrusive. It's very easy to save file. I mean, mechanically, it does very well. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
An 8?
I'm gonna give it an 8. They did a lot right, but it's just I'm missing.
Yeah,
something. All the mechanics are there. I just feel like I'm missing.
You're
a
missing
pop.
that
I'm
strong
missing a pop.
story.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, because what you find is kind of like you have to. It's almost kind of like Bloodborne, Dark Souls-esque. Like you're getting pieces of story, but you have to really delve into and figure out what's going on yourself. I'm wondering because we played 4 hours into. I think like they say, I could be wrong, so don't quote me, but a curse is like a 16-hour thing. Like and there's a bunch of curses. That's at least that's what people were saying. That's how long it took them to finish one curse. Was like it's like an hour, like
15 hours and draw the curse. Okay.
I guess we lost.
Start
So I'm wondering is that we weren't really that far into it. We had just gotten off that island. I mean, it was exciting whenever we're like, oh, we'll try to swim, and there's a fucking shark, and now we're frightened. We're getting statuses that affect later on.
Octopus.
If you were if you were paranoid, then things affect you. So it definitely had that world building for me, but I'm wondering if that story element comes stronger later, or it's stronger in a different curse.
It has to, but after playing for 4 fucking hours, if that was a video game, I would have stopped after 30 minutes. If it's not fun, like if the story isn't there immediately.
I knew you didn't like it the first session.
First fucking
like,
minute.
That's why every single session I asked if you wanted to play it.
I really thought
I knew you didn't like it.
The first time I was like, I gotta get used to it, and then the second time I was like, yeah, it was alright, and then fourth one I was like,
I don't know which episode it was. When we got the submarine working, that one was
That was the
pretty
third
good.
one.
Yeah.
When we got all the
We had all
gears
the gears, we
together,
found all of them, and we're like, oh,
wow,
okay.
everything's just working out.
Yeah. And I think that's the
definitely-
one you did
yeah.
like. But then it got back to exploring, and it's like, okay, now this is over here. We started getting those skill cards because we picked that chess. We thought it was a mimic, and then we just die. Yeah, I thought, I know you gave it an 8, but man, I thought you were really enjoying it.
You know, I mean,
We were
I know you
definitely.
gave it an 8,
fun.
but
It's like, I mean, it's good. I'm just, you know, it doesn't have like a pop.
Mhm.
I need a, I mean,
Yeah.
if you ask me to play it again, I'm like, yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's very unobtrusive. You
Okay.
know, there's not a lot. It's like, oh, pick it up. It's
Yeah.
easy to play. It's easy to remember.
yeah,
And it doesn't like. I'm not like.
because we're not sitting
I'm
here.
not like fatigued after some
Right.
games where I'm like
It's not
emotionally
like-
fatigued.
Yeah, it's not like
afterwards.
sitting here and it's like, okay, guys, let's. All right, Devin, we got another.
I mean, it's a good time killer too. It's
Yeah.
a good time killer game.
'Cause
So it's so.
we can sit there and play 30 minutes,
Yeah.
or play, like, we
Yeah.
kept them at an hour. I did like that, how it felt kind of like a Let's Play video game channel where I wasn't like, this is going to be a set 2 hours. It was
Right.
like, all right, we'll do 30 minutes,
That
we'll do
kind
an hour.
of. I think that also made the atmosphere a lot more relaxed because a lot of the time, like, we know when a game is
Mhm.
going to be long, and that can kind of
Right.
definitely weigh on
And
you.
whenever
Yeah.
whenever we were playing this, it's like, if we just pull it out, it's like, all right, what do we want to do? But at the same time, I'm giving it a 9.5.
Shit.
I really like this game, but I also I'm gonna play it solo, and I'll probably continue on the channel. You're more than welcome to join me. I saved it as 2 players. I pulled all her stuff out. If you want to continue the game with me, by all means. But if you don't, that's fine too. And I'll just do it solo. But yeah, all the mechanisms are there. The one thing where if you help, you decrease the card count, which that thematically makes sense, but making it harder doesn't. But that completely goes away when you're playing by yourself. All people locked in have to do this. It's just you. So if it was just me, I'm experiencing everything, and I'm intrigued. Like, I want to know what this curse is about, because right now, all the stuff we've gotten is just kind of like what happened to people before us on the first expedition. So I think the first curse you do is kind of like that.
Mhm.
Well, what happened? How did we get this curse? And I think the other will be a different story. So I really have no complaints. I would not put this in a co-op list, like a top 10 co-op list, because I do think it's a poor co-op game, for lack of a better word, because of its just free flow. There's really no structure. It's definitely not fun if you're not the one doing stuff. I mean, I guess as a person, like, you could have just tagged along with everything, but if it's supposed to be free flowing and exploration, you would want to do what you want to do.
I did want to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't get to do it.
And you didn't get to do it. Well, you gotta speak up.
You had the raft!
Oh, is that
Yeah!
that's
I couldn't do it!
Well, yeah, that's true. I wanted to go see what's in the cave.
I know you guys
Well,
wanted
the
to go
plan-
out,
the
go out there
plan-
with no snowshoes in a fucking avalanche.
Hey, it worked. It worked.
Until we died.
I got to the cave with my torch, because I also had the torch. So I did that. I was going to come back, but Devin was like, well, let's keep going, as he's paranoid and frightened. And we're all
Something's
still
behind me, we have to go
We're all
forward.
still frightened. So 9.5, 8, 5.
Solid.
That's 7th Continent. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. If you want to continue seeing the campaign, also let me know that.
Let me
Let me know that.
Let me that.
Let me know that in the comments below. Even
We
if you don't
again.
want to, I'm doing it anyway. It's just going to be not as often, because I got Gloomhaven to do as well. I got 2 Gloomhaven campaigns to do. But that's the 7th Continent. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.